You're listening to
Wrestling to the Max.
Alert. Clear all channels.
This is an exclusive.
How you like that?
And your host, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Leeser.
King of Sport. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Hello and welcome to another Wrestle the Max Extra. This is number 15, as long as I'm correct about that. Who knows? Probably wrong on the number at this point. Who knows? But anyway, this is Sean Garmer, one of the co-hosts of Wrestle the Max. If this is your first time listening, or you've only listened to our G1 coverage here, I will be reviewing Night 7 of the G1 Climax 25 here pretty shortly. But just in case, this is, like I said, this is your first time listening or anything, we do a regular episode every Thursday night around 11 p.m. Eastern talking about WWE, TNA, NXT, ROH, all the American wrestling shows. We do cover New Japan stuff on there as well. Any news or anything that comes out. We kind of started doing New Japan stuff after Wrestle Kingdom 9 and kind of have kept on since then. So I apologize if you hear my daughter or other people that are in my house right now talking, but kind of not doing this at a late hour this time. So that being said, if you're around and you watch the show, or maybe just interested in kind of what happened, you can call in 972-591-8620. So I'm not doing it at like some freaking weird time in the afternoon or really late at night this time. But so we kind of cover the news. We review all the shows. Raw, TNA Impact, ROH, Lucha Underground, all that stuff, NXT. So if you're not just a Puro person and you're listening because you like all things wrestling, we are the Every Wrestling Fan podcast for a reason. So, if you'd like to listen to us on our regular episodes, which are around 3 hours long, something like that, but we have timestamps and stuff to let you know when we're doing certain things on the show so that, you don't just listen to what you don't want to hear. But anyway, I think we should probably get to what you guys are all here for. That is Night 7 of G1 Climax 25 review or rundown or whatever. It took place this morning in the Fukuoka International Center in Fukuoka, Japan. This is B Block. Oh no, not B Block. Why am I? I'm going off. It's all A Block on this show. But I do talk about. I did have one episode a couple days ago where I didn't do the undercard. But that's because I was kind of behind. But I am covering the undercard on the show, and we probably might have had the best undercard of the entire year. Just or not entire year, of the entire tournament. I am so distracted with things going on in my house that I have no control of right now. But anyway, this show is live, so sometimes when you're live and you can't control what's going on, you kind of have to roll with it. That's just how it is. I usually do have two co-hosts that do the show with me. They're a bit busier than I am at the moment, so and Paul Leeser, who's one of the hosts you heard there in the intro, he's the one that got us all in New Japan, and he would have been watching these things with me and maybe on these things with me, but he recently just started a job, and so he's kind of got to focus on that. But anyway, enough about personal things that most of you probably don't care at all about. Starting off, I should note that Shinsuke Nakamura was held off of this show, like I had said on the previous show, that if they're going to have him come back, it'll be for a G1 match, and it'll probably be on Saturday in Osaka, because that's a huge show for them. If Nakamura has to miss that show, it's going to be a really, not a good thing for New Japan for this tournament, because it changes everything, because pretty much Nakamura was the hands-on favorite at this, the odds-on favorite, the hand-picked favorite, everything you want to name a favorite, he was it for New Japan. So it's going to be interesting to see if he comes back. Hopefully he does, because I really want to see what they wanted this to become. He had to forfeit a match against Michael Hogan, probably 2 points that he wasn't losing, I'm pretty sure. So either way, let's get on with this. Tiger Mask 4 and the CMLL World Welterweight Champion Mascara Dorada against David Finlay Jr. and Jay White, the Young Lions. Everybody seemed pretty motivated for this. It's the first time the Tiger Mask hasn't been paired with Jushin Liger, who was on another place on this undercard. So they seemed pretty motivated. You got to see. I thought David Finlay probably had the best showing of anyone in this match, honestly. A lot of times we've kind of seen Jay White be the guy, but in this match it was definitely Mr. David Finlay. I gotta give him props for that. We even got to see him do a Irish Curse backbreaker in this match, which I think we haven't seen him use before. We've seen him do the Finlay roll, we've seen him do those uppercuts, all that, but I don't know if we've seen him use the Irish Curse, so that's pretty cool that he got to use it here. Jay White hit Dorada pretty early on with a military press drop, the one where you just lift him in the air and let him fall down. Dorada got his rope walk drop kick. He later got a actual real rope walk drop kick where he walked the ropes and did it. This was just pretty fun. Everybody kind of got their stuff in. Tiger Mask looked a lot more motivated than he usually does. He was doing his little flip drop kick. He was doing a few things, moving around a lot better than he normally is when he's Grumpy Tiger. He went to the outside, hit a suicide dive on Jay White to clear him out. Dorada hit his drop kick, and then the Dorada screwdriver for the win. Pretty fun match. Didn't last too long. Everybody kind of got to hit that one good spot, and that's pretty much match one. So moving along, we have the IWGP Tag Team Champion Carl Anderson, Tama Tonga, Yujiro Takahashi, and Cody Hall, all the Bullet Club, against Yuji Nagata, Ryusuke Taguchi, Satoshi Kojima, and Yohei Komatsu. Satoshi Kojima is going to be facing Yujiro Takahashi on the Saturday morning show. Yuji Nagata is going to be facing Carl Anderson. This had a little bit of everything. You got a short interaction between Kojima and Yujiro, which was mostly Kojima dominating Yujiro, so hopefully that's what would happen in the match that happens on Saturday, but I have a feeling it'll be the opposite, because that's kind of how they've liked for these to go, with Yujiro just dominating, even though no one cares about his offense, but we're just still going to do that. Hopefully we get a more back and forth with Kojima, kind of like the Ishii match, instead of Less like the Goto match, please, because that was just complete and utter boredom. Taguchi got in some of his ass offense. The crowd was pretty hot for Yohei Komatsu when he came in towards the end, delivering some running elbows and sent them off the top rope. Really, honestly, Carl Anderson was the highlight of this show. Or not the show, the match. He was funny the entire time. He had a face off with Taguchi, and he's like yelling Taguchi's name, and he does the ass attack to Taguchi in his face. Later, when he gets the face off against Kojima, he acts like he's taking off the imaginary elbow pad that Kojima does when he does the lariat, which is hilarious. He does the Blue Justice pose to taunt Nagata. Nagata and Anderson have a pretty nice exchange in this as well. It gets you really pumped for the match. I thought this was probably one of the better, using the tag match to get people ready for a singles match that's happening on the next show. The highlight of that is the TKO and gun stun into the seated armbar, which has Anderson just yelling at the top of his lungs that it's hurting, which is also funny. Tonga surprisingly wins. I had no idea this guy had a finisher. It's almost like a sort of head shrinker DDT, the sort of similar to a future shock DDT, whatever, but it's pretty cool actually. And Tonga has his own music. I would have never thought, because he always comes out to the Bullet Club music too. It was your basic 8-man. Everyone kind of has their set stuff they're doing. Nothing totally special, but it wasn't anything bad either. But something that was totally really good. Tomoaki Hama, Michael Elgin. This is the match that was supposed to feature Shinsuke Nakamura, as he was supposed to tag with his Chaos mates against Hanma. I think it was supposed to be Taguchi and... Okay, let me check that real quick. I don't want to say the wrong thing here, and then I'm totally just giving you some false information. I don't like doing all that. That's kind of messed up. But no, it was supposed to be Captain New Japan. Sorry. Well, Taguchi would have been an upgrade to that match. But anyway, so Captain New Japan got removed. Thankfully they didn't just try to slot someone else from Chaos into that match or whatever. So we got this, and this was really fun. Great, because we get the renewal of the rivalry between Tomohiro Ishii and Tomoaki Hama in this, who, if for some reason, you're just getting new into New Japan. There are a lot of people that are getting into New Japan because of this G1 Climax, because of people talking about it, because knowing that it's a big tournament and all this kind of stuff. So if you haven't watched anything but this G1, or you don't know a whole lot about what happened this year, maybe you only watch Wrestle Kingdom, and you haven't watched a lot of the other shows. One of the two big shows after Wrestle Kingdom in February was The New Beginning in Sendai, and one of the awesome matches on that show, or probably the awesome match of the show, match of the year, that was a Tomoaki Hanma and Tomohiro Ishii never openweight championship match, which at the time was vacant because Makabe got the flu and they had no idea when he'd be able to be back. So they went ahead and just vacated the title. Ishii wound up winning that match, but that match was incredible. Something that really sold you on the fact that Hanma Mania, this thing with Hanma where he's that lovable loser or whatever, he showed you why you can really believe in him, because he got really close in that match. It was just insane how crazy that match was. But that being said, getting to this, we had a really awesome chop fest at the beginning. Just constant. Every time they hit each other, the crowd just oohed and awed even more. It was literally just, they were going nuts here. Just insane. Hanma eventually won out, and it really got you ready for what was going to be the rest of this match. You had Michael Elgin come in. He hit a power slam and a stalling suplex on Yoshihashi. He also got a big solo stretch against Ishii, too, where he just delivered elbows, and he got an apron splash or over the rope apron splash on Ishii. The crowd really enjoyed that. Just the whole trading the elbows thing was absolutely great in this match as well. They had Also later, Michael Elgin hits a double Samoan drop on both Ishii and Yoshihashi, and it's amazing just the strength. And we know the strength that Michael Elgin has, we've watched him before, but it's just pretty amazing, honestly, how crazy strong this guy is, and the crowd's really, really responding to him. I mean, they are just constantly responding, and it just seems like every match that he does now, it's just more and more responding to Michael Elgin, and that's really good because the guy needs that. I think he was kind of just meandering there in ROH, and now he's sort of rejuvenated himself here in New Japan. So, Hanma does this whole thing where he tries to do the Kokeshi too early. He also he does get the Kokeshi later. He hits his deadlift suplex that really gets the crowd going, and he also later does get to hit a Rocky Kokeshi that kind of starts the ending. Yoshihashi looked really good in this too. He had some good near falls with Hanma, and then Hanma hits a top rope Kokeshi for the win. Elgin and Hanma win, and then the best part is at the end, Elgin, Ishii, and Hanma all got into it because these are matches that are going to happen in Block B at some point, and they just went at it. It was just really fun to watch. Just really got you excited for when we're getting those matches, even though Elgin Ishii is not happening, I think, until like almost the last day, which is crazy. But yeah, that was probably the most enjoyable tag match of the entire tour so far. And this might have been, like I said, the best overall undercard of the entire tour, I think, when you're talking about all 4 matches in one. Speaking of that last match, you've got Jushin Thunder Liger and the Intercontinental Champion, IWGP Intercontinental Champion, Hiroki Goto, against the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Kazuchika Okada, and Geto of Chaos. I think this is one of those times where, honestly, having a tag match right before you're about to have a singles match hurts. Because Okada and Goto are sort of like creatures of habit. They really do a lot of the same stuff in their matches. They have their spots, So honestly, when you get to see a lot of their spots already, and you're going to see some of those same spots in the next match, it kind of does give it gives a lot away. This is why we haven't really seen a whole lot of the interactions going a whole lot long in these tag matches, because they don't want to give too much away, and I kind of felt like they might have given a little too much away for that match coming. I get that you have Geto and Liger on the other side, and maybe the match isn't as entertaining, even though I would say that maybe not, because honestly, Liger's entertaining in himself, and Geto's hilarious when he does his comedy, so I really appreciate when Geto's in there. I know not everybody likes the Geto comedy, but I find it funny. Geto and Liger did have some nice interactions. They're just 2 veterans. They've been around. They know each other. So, when Geto goes for his silly little, let me do the handshake with you so I can gain an advantage, Liger's like, oh, hell no. Even after he hugs the ref and everything, Liger's like no. So Geto just takes it to him. You get pretty, like I said, you get the big Goto comeback, which is like a lariat, a rolling kick in the corner, a backdrop suplex. You get Okada doing his elbow at the top, the elbow in the corner, the DDT. You get, I think Okada did everything but like the tombstone and a few of the other things he usually does. So, like I said, you might have gotten a little bit too much in this match, but even then, this wasn't anything. This is still your basic tag match. It wasn't anything that thrilling. The cool thing is you do have Liger sort of doing a reverse Geto clutch on Geto to win the match. So that was kind of neat. So now that we're done with the undercard, we're going to venture into the A block matches after I totally butchered that at the beginning there. But yes, I've redeemed myself, and we're going into the A block matches. We have Doc Gallows against Toru Yano to start. If you don't know, Toru Yano got busted open really bad on Night 5 by Hiroshi Tenzan in their match. He literally did a diving headbutt from the top rope and smashed Yano's head. He was busted open, gushing blood, everything. It was certainly, and then he got like 10 stitches afterwards. It's almost, some people I've heard compare it to like a third eyebrow for the guy. Poor guy. But anyway, Doc Gallows is accompanied. No, he's not by himself in this match. He is accompanied by his Carl Anderson. Of course, Doc Gallows was another part of the Bullet Club Tag Team Champions here. So we have Cody Hall, Tama Tonga, and Carl Anderson coming out with Gallows. So you know this match is going to have a bunch of interference. Yano and Gallows do a funny handshake spot at the beginning where Gallows kind of squeezes Yano's hand, and Yano just freaks out and acts like, he's totally getting his hand smashed, and then he tries to do it to Gallows, and obviously he fails miserably, which is still really funny. Yano does his yelling for break routine, which Gallows just cannot. He's incensed the fact that he's allowed to do this. He just goes off on a tirade of cursing, does Mr. Gallows. Gallows tosses Yano to the outside so he can have the Bullet Club just beat him up. And then Gallows they start raking the eyes. Him and Anderson just start having this little thing where they rake the eyes. Yano has another fun little spot where he tries to keep going for his taunt, and he catches Gallows. And then he grabs Gallows' ears because Gallows has no hair to pull down. He does the low blow, gets his roll up. That's about as close as Yano got in this match. He did get to knock down Tonga and Hall off the ring apron. And then we get Anderson with I don't remember where the referee went in this match. It seemed like he just was not there. I don't know, but Anderson is able to, after a Gallows slow blow, Anderson comes in, they do a magic killer on Yano. He's not getting up from that. And there's Doc Gallows' first 2 points of the evening. I enjoyed this. I'm a big Yano fan, though, so I find his stuff funny. And when he goes the extra mile, kind of adding some new different things in there, new wrinkles, I appreciate it. Gallows works pretty well because you believe that he's just totally pissed about everything that's going on. Because he really does look that way. This is probably your only bad match of the show coming up here. NWA World Champion Hiroshi Tenzan against the never Openweight Champion Togi Makabe. It was sort of sad to watch, though, because Tenzan's really hurting. Both of these guys have also, except for the one match where Makabe wrestled with Shibata, both of them have kind of gotten into this, if I'm not in a big match, I don't care sort of environment. Whereas with Tenzan, I can kind of okay it because he's hurting. This guy has not had the greatest of tournaments, and he had that one really good match with Tanahashi on night 3. But other than that, it's kind of been, really a miss for Tenzan. And when he's getting up to his age at 44, it's starting to affect him. You can tell. A lot of these guys are coming in with tape everywhere on them, just limbs hurting and all that stuff. And Tenzan's one of them that's just going through this. Makabe really had a lot of the advantage in this match. Honestly, it almost felt like a one-way deal. He was pounding Tenzan into the buckle pad. He took him to the outside, ran him into the barricade. Ran them again into the barricade, ran him into the pole, just everything. He did his trademark 10 punches and all that, the lariats and all that stuff. Tenzan got a few of his in there. He did the Anaconda Vice for what seemed like a long time, though. It was overly long. He got the Anaconda Buster for 2. He did a sort of fireman's carry there to get a 2. And then Makabe does a few lariats, and then he gets the DVD, Death Valley Driver, and the King Kong knee drop for the win. Honestly, just skip this. Not worth watching, honestly. And if you're not a big Yano guy, you can totally skip the first match, too. It's not anything you really need to go out of your way to see, unless you're just totally aching to watch Doc Gallows get his first 2 points, thanks to the Bullet Club, basically. So, this is the match. This is the match everybody's going to be talking about out of this show. This is the match that you need to go watch right now. This is the match that makes New Japan World worth it. $8.50 a month. There is an English translation of the page now on New Japan World itself that does a pretty good job of translating it for you. I think definitely this and a few of the other matches that have been on these shows are well worth the 850 by themselves. And this one right here, Kota Ibushi against Katsuyori Shibata, definitely worth your money. Just hard hitting, just one hell of a match to have at well, it seemed like 7 in the morning Eastern time. Just insane here, but I'm going to take you through this one because it is absolutely just awesome. So they kind of exchange some holes at the beginning, and then after that it really gets going with Shibata, which he's made this one of his big deals because he doesn't like the fact people just taking too long when they're on the apron. You really saw this in this match with Naito where he just was not happy with Naito taking forever to take off clothes. And he runs from one end of the ring to the other and knocks you off the apron with a freaking boot that sends you, if not into the barricade, it sends you close to it because it sends you flying. It's insane. Shibata also lariats Ibushi over to the barricade. He brings Ibushi back into the ring. This match was sort of Ibushi having to understand that he couldn't use a lot of his high flying stuff. He was gonna have to go to what Shibata does to try to beat him, or at least he felt this is what he had to do to beat him. And then in the end, he doesn't realize it, but he understands that he can't beat the master at at his game. But either way, so we have Ibushi. Ibushi went and elbowed and punched Shibata in the corner, and then he smacked Shibata in the corner with his own trademark like basement dropkick. It's one of Shibata's signature things that he does is a basement dropkick in the corner. So then Shibata's like, screw this, and he starts trading elbows with Ibushi. He elbows Ibushi all the way down, thinking that he has him down. Ibushi gets up, and then Shibata just literally stomps the crap out of Ibushi. It's stomping him down, does a nasty face wash, like with everything he's got, laying it in, hits a basement dropkick, necklock suplex for 2. Ibushi would eventually you got to see him do his springboard moonsault after he kicked Shibata out of the ring and to the outside. And then he also got his corkscrew splash in there at one point for 2. But that's pretty much the extent of Ibushi doing flying moves here. We don't see the Phoenix Splash at all. We don't get any of that. But the setup for that corkscrew splash was Ibushi had kicked Shibata a bunch of times, and then Shibata kept asking for more. So you know what's going to happen here. Shibata's going to kick the crap out of Ibushi when he finally gets an opportunity. Ibushi actually tried his own opportunity and a penalty kick because Shibata was down, seated at one point here. And this is when Shibata blocks it and elbows him. And then after this, Ibushi goes for an overhead kick where he basically just does almost like a flip in the air and then tries to kick you. And Shibata grabs the leg and turns it into an STF, which is an awesome spot. He holds it in there. These two just go at it, snap German suplexes. They both kick out at one. Each man hit, when I'm talking about a lariat, I'm talking about Ibushi flipped. And then Shibata got whacked by a lariat from each guy. Shibata hits pretty much an AA. And then both men stay down to like 7. You get both men exchanging this bunch of blows. Shibata has to cover up at one point because Ibushi just starts straight punching him. I mean, just straight punching him. And then Shibata with a nasty slap. He just slaps the total crap out of Ibushi. He puts the sleeper in, which has been his like setup for the penalty kick. He nails, and I mean nails, the penalty kick on Ibushi. Just amazing. 5 stars. Go watch this match. The only 5-star match of this tournament so far. Awesome. And I believe it only lasts about 14 minutes, but it's really freaking great stuff. Loved it. I don't think you're going to find somebody else that didn't love it. Maybe not as much as me. Maybe, it's taken half a star off or something like that, but this was freaking awesome. Go watch that. Anyway, moving along because we have to. Because I can't keep just going over and over how great that match is at this point. But Hiroshi Tanahashi against Bad Luck Fale of the Bullet Club. Bad Luck Fale also comes out here with Tama Tonga and Cody Hall. He is not alone. I mean, let's be honest here. Hiroshi Tanahashi is the ace of New Japan. He's not just some slouch. So, to bring Tanahashi should almost feel like, well, Fale obviously feels he couldn't beat me by himself. So, early on, it was pretty much Tanahashi showing he had no fear. He was going right at the big guy, just kept coming at him with blows and running moves and stuff. Fale would kind of keep pushing him away, hitting him down, stuff like that. Eventually, he tosses out Tanahashi so that Tonga can beat him up. Then when they get him in the corner, Hall beats him up too. So you see the Bullet Club getting involved again. At one point, you even see Tanahashi knock Tonga off the apron, just like you saw Yano earlier. Tanahashi does get this really impressive scoop slam on Bad Luck Fale, which, a guy of Fale's size, that's no joke to be lifting him up like that. We do get this really cool spot with Tanahashi getting some revenge on the Bullet Club where they're all outside because he clotheslines Fale over the top. And then he does a high fly flow to all three of them and knocks them all out. And the big moment for Tanahashi is pretty much he nails the sling blade, does a standing high fly flow, and then there's a regular high fly flow. And then you think this is the end. I mean, it seems like the end. This is pretty much how Tanahashi's ended his matches. And then right when that three is about to hit, I mean, it sounds like that three's coming. Bam, the referee gets pulled out. They had done it so well, though, you don't see who pulled the referee out. But it's almost like one of these, really? You pulled one of these? My God. I'm sure the crowd, who cannot stand this kind of stuff, was not happy about this either. Tanahashi's face, though, he was just like, come on, man. Really? Tanahashi would go and avoid two Bad Luck Falls. He kicked out of the grenade, which is a Samoan spike. But he would eventually fall to his own move. As Bad Luck Fale went up to the top rope, frickin' almost tripped and fell. It would have been really bad. And tried to... And eventually hit his own high fly flow on Tanahashi for the win. Because of the Bullet Club involvement, you have to wonder if this is going to be Tanahashi's next feud until we get to around Wrestle Kingdom. Hopefully not. But this match wasn't that bad. Tanahashi kind of carried Fale to a predictable match, or to a passable match here. The Bullet Club getting involved kind of worked and everything, but if you're not a fan of interference, this is going to bother you. But anyway, let's move on to the main event. It wasn't, we've had some main events that are just very good, like the one on night 6 was just very good. This is another one of these. It's just very good. It's not great. I didn't think it got to the great territory, but still, if you love Naito's heel stuff that he's been doing, this is another match that once again shows you Naito being the heel. So, we get AJ berating Naito at the beginning, just berating him because he's taking forever to take off his clothes, and the fact that he has to take off his clothes, period. He's like, I will not wrestle you with that mask on. And look at the guy. He thinks he's so awesome. He has to take off all these clothes to wrestle or whatever. So you get a weird AJ Styles chant. Almost like we had a bunch of Americans in the audience deciding to do AJ Styles chants because you got the claps, too. The claps you hear at at all the American shows or whatever. But since we did have two heels, the crowd was very dead. They weren't reactive to a lot of stuff because Naito's in full dick mode. And, AJ's a heel that he's been a heel since the beginning. And it's kind of hard for them to... They give AJ a lot of praise. I mean, for being a heel, AJ gets a lot of praise from the crowd and all that kind of stuff. But they still don't really cheer for him or whatever. So we see Naito's, first movement of being a heel. He pulls AJ's hair to get out of a chin lock. And then as things heat up, they're on the ring apron, and Naito just hits a neckbreaker on the apron. I mean, it was nasty, the sound that made. Naito pulled out a cravat to work on AJ's neck. Lots of submissions here for Naito. The whole focus is on AJ's neck here. AJ would hit his springboard forearm. He hit a reverse fireman's carry for 2. Naito got his corner dropkick in to keep working on that neck. He hit a tornado DDT for 2. A flatliner into a Koji clutch, again working on the neck. Eventually, at one point, Naito would try to do a tornado DDT again, and Styles would switch it into the Styles Clash, and then Naito would have to use the ropes to avoid it. It was pretty funny, actually. Then we get, in which Styles winds up just giving him a suplex on the corner to look pretty nasty. Naito finishes it with a spit in the face of AJ. Does his roll-up that he's been doing, but he only got 2. AJ went for the Bloody Sunday, but he countered into his backflip neckbreaker, modified slash spread number 2, whatever. It looks pretty good. And in 2 matches, beating Tanahashi and beating AJ, that finisher is now something you have to take seriously. And he's also now apparently the master of neck work. Just great stuff for Naito. Another win, and now he's leading the pack with Bad Luck Fale and with Shibata at the top of Block A. After that, everything kind of stayed the same mostly. You have Togi Makabe getting 2 more points, so he's tied with Kota Ibushi, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and AJ Styles at 4 points. You got Doc Gallows getting his first 2. Toru Yano and Hiroshi Tenzan stay the same. So those are your standings. And like I said, the Shibata and Ibushi match you need to go watch like right now. The first 2 matches you can totally skip. If you're a Tanahashi fan, maybe watch that match. You can probably skip that too. I'd say watch the main event. It's about like 16, 17 minutes. Continuing to watch the progression of Naito's character, I think is well worth spending the time. And I definitely check out that 3rd tag match in the undercard with Hama and Elgin against Yoshihashi and Ishii. You will not regret watching that. It is some fantastic stuff. So that is the card and what happened on night 7. They return for night 8 and night 9 on Saturday and Sunday morning. Saturday, they will be in Osaka, which is one of the biggest crowds they're going to get, one of the biggest events they're going to have. Let me see where they're running. Yeah, the Osaka Prefectural Gymnasium that runs 8,000. The Fukuoka Center they were in today runs 10,000, but I don't know if they got that. Then they're going to be in the Aichi Prefectural Gymnasium for the Sunday night show. Then they take a break on Monday, and they go to Sendai on Tuesday. So, getting into that card for the Saturday show, it is a B block show. So, that means that you're going to have, hopefully, Shinsuke Nakamura coming back. I should also note the time here. It's a lot earlier, 4 a.m. Eastern for this on Saturday. And even earlier on Sunday, a 3 a.m. Eastern start on Sunday. So I've kind of gotten used to doing the 5:30s. Now to get used to doing the 3 and 4s. 4 I might be able to do. 3 I might have to stay up for, and I don't know. But yeah, so either way, I mean, I've been getting up to watch these live, and it's been sort of an experience with everything on that. So getting to the card, you have Jay White and David Finlay Jr. against Cody Hall and Doc Gallows. That's a toss-up, but I'm pretty sure the Young Lions are taking the falls there. Yohei Komatsu, Hiroyoshi Tenzan, and Togi Makabe against Mascara Dorada, Kota Ibushi, and Tetsuya Naito. As Kota Ibushi is facing Hiroyoshi Tenzan, and Naito's facing Makabe on that night. The main event is our special of Hiroyoshi Tanahashi and Toru Yano on that Sunday show. That's going to be funny. So, yeah, moving along on that Saturday card, Captain New Japan, Tiger Mask, and Katsuyori Shibata against Tama Tonga, Bad Luck Fale, and AJ Styles. It's Shibata against Bad Luck Fale. That'll be interesting to see how Shibata and Fale go on in that match. I'm really interested to see on that one. AJ will be facing Doc Gallows. That's why they're not facing off. Obviously, Bullet Club mates, so they're not going to wrestle until they have to. Ryusuke Taguchi Kushida returns after having spent this little time in GFW. Finally, Hiroshi Tanahashi against Geto, Yoshihashi, and Toru Yano of Chaos. And of course, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toru Yano are renewing their rivalry that ended at Dominion one more time for the sake of it. Block B matches: Satoshi Kojima against Yujiro Takahashi. I hope the Yujiro wins end here. Hopefully it's not a snooze fest. I really hope it's not. Yuji Nagata against Carl Anderson could really be interesting. Carl Anderson's been having these, sort of dominating parts where he dominates the match or whatever. Let's see what Nagata does against him. Like I said, they had some pretty entertaining interactions in that tag match. Tomoaki Hama against Michael Elgin should be all kinds of awesome. I'm really excited for that. Really hope we have some good stuff there. We get Shinsuke Nakamura against Tomohiro Ishii in the semi-main event. I really hope this match goes down because this could be all kinds of greatness here. Should be some fun stuff. Yeah, so after that we have the main event of your IWGP Intercontinental Champion Hiroki Goto against IWGP Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada. Hiroki Goto has been saying for a while that he wants to unify the belts. I have no reason why. I have no idea why. But this is, I guess, your one time if we don't get that feud. But if Goto wins, he does get a title shot against Okada. So it'll be interesting to see if they do want to play with that and have Goto win here. But my guess would be no. But let's see. Let's hope that they can pull out a little bit of what's happening. Let's see if they can pull out a little bit from that tag match and give us a deeper thing on that case. So there's your card. I am doing really bad in the pick'ems. I'm like 19-16, bordering on getting to that 500. This is my first time doing the G1 and all this stuff, so I don't think I did it smartly. I was thinking of way too many wins for way too many guys, and not thinking about that it's boring if you have all these guys already to big leads. They have to keep it close so that you're into watching every match. And I didn't think about that until after I'd already submitted my picks, so I'm not doing that great. Paul's doing a little bit better. He's 23-12, if I'm not mistaken. So, all right, that about does it for the G1 Night 7. I will be back on Saturday at some point, probably more later in the afternoon, to do the podcast for Night 7. I also have a written review. You can read all my written reviews on Last Word on Sports in the Pro Wrestling section. Go to their sports tab. It should show all the sports that they cover. Pro Wrestling should be there, and you'll see all my reviews. All my reviews, I have night 1 through 7 there. So if you like what you hear here and you want to hear more of my thoughts, you can read my stuff there. But all right, that pretty much does it. Like I said, we will be back on Thursday night for our regular W2M episode, which will be episode 154 of the podcast. Yes, we are that. We've been around for almost 3 years now, if you don't know who we are. We will be reviewing Raw. We'll be reviewing NXT. These are the night after all these Wednesday shows, so it'll be fresh. NXT, Lucha Underground, first night of Ultima Lucha, the 1 hour Ultima Lucha. Lucha Underground, ROH TV, TNA Impact, all those shows. We'll be talking more about the Hulk Hogan thing since, more stuff is leaked out. Sadly, we got to keep talking about that. We've talked about that for 2 shows in a row. We also did a show on Sunday where we reviewed the ROH Set for Dishonor 13, if you're big into ROH. We also talked more about the Hogan stuff. More about it, like before we had more of the leakage stuff from there. We talked about the ROH losing their time slot at 8 o'clock. We also talked about, I think, a few other things as well. So that's a good thing to go check out there. We are available on Spreaker.com. That's our home base. This is where I'm doing the show live from right now. You can go follow us on Spreaker, actually, if you'd like. Make you a little profile page. Follow us on Spreaker. You'll know when we go live. You'll know when anything is happening with our page. I also do another podcast. Well, I do 2 more podcasts. I do a sports podcast with one of my co-hosts here, Gary Vaughn. We talk mostly NFL football. We talk about other sports as well. I also do a video game podcast that called Cooperative Multiplayer Live that you can check out if you'd like. Who knows what else we're going to be covering on that W2 episode 154, but I'm sure there'll be a lot to talk about by then. So, yeah. And until we get to Thursday night, and I'll be back on Saturday at some point with the night 8 of G1 Climax. When we get to Sunday, we'll be almost halfway through, and that'll be that'll be a great thing for me because this is starting to get tiring, but still awesome. So, all right, until Thursday, and until Saturday, whichever one you listen to. See you later, everybody.